Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the planning board meeting, December 28th at 7:02 p.m. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Aaron, you want to take attendance?
Yep, hold on. Actually, Chris is supposed to be doing attendance. All right, go ahead. No, and
Here.
Dr. Miskey,
Here.
Alex, man,
no,
Josh Fisher,
Here.
Dane Moore,
Here.
Barbara Cotton.
here.
Okay, first on our agenda is the public hearing for the site plan review for the Spring T-Mobile. It's 7:03 p.m. and we'll open the public hearing. Aaron, do you want to read the public notice?
Yep, give me 1 second here. Please take notice that pursuant to the zoning ordinance of the town of Lake Luzerne, the planning board will conduct a public hearing on December 28th, 2022 at 7 p.m. at the regularly scheduled planning board meeting. The meeting will be held at the municipal complex, 539 Lake Avenue, town of Lake Luzerne, to hear comments on the following: Site Plan 2022 SP-3, applicant Sprint/T-Mobile, owner Charter Communications Time Warner, parcel number 318.1-1-12, residential town zone RT 0.50 acres. Location 2086 Call Street, Lake Luzerne. The applicant has applied to make modifications to the present tower site, which include removing antennas, adding new antennas, adding a slab, equipment, generator, fuel tank, and new gate to the site. A copy of the original application, as well as other supporting documentation, are on file with the Office of the Zoning Officer and may be reviewed by interested members of the public during normal business hours, Monday through Thursday, 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. All parties in interest and citizens will be given an opportunity to be heard in respect to the proposed application at the public hearing. Persons may respond by letter, telephone, appear in person, or by agent, or participate via Zoom. Access Zoom by computer at zoom.com or by phone at 646-558-8656. The access code for Zoom is 902-687-9764. Karen Putney, zoning officer, Lake Luzerne zoning, P.O. Box 370, Lake Luzerne, New York, 12846, 518-696-2711, extension 4, published December 19th, 2022.
Do we have any responses?
I had no responses of any kind.
I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
It's
Good
Joseph.
evening.
Papa.
Joe Papa here
Okay.
for Sprint T-Mobile.
Is there anybody in the audience that like to make any comments, questions, suggestions? For the other board members that weren't here, they wanted to make some changes to their pad where all the equipment is, correct?
Correct.
And I believe we went through everything other than we got to the point of the generator. And right now there's a propane generator. And you wanted to put a second generator with diesel, correct?
That's correct.
We decided at our meeting that we wanted a public hearing, just in case anybody had anything to say about the diesel generator. Based on the last one we had, where we had a public hearing, we decided to go with propane, the other tower. So I'm assuming as far as I know, the owner has no objection, or he'd be here and say something.
No,
correct?
they got a notice, so.
Yeah. And there's nothing that we can find that, says that we can't have a propane generator.
I did go back through the files all the way back to what, everything that I had in the files and the different actions that have gone on there. And there's absolutely no mention of preference on the generator at all. It does mention a generator back in the 1987 paperwork, but it was not brought up as an issue at all. There was, nothing about it. So I can find nothing in any of the minutes or of any of the actions that have happened at that site that have anything to do with the generator at all.
Based
And-
on,
I was going to say, Mr. Papa did do some research about swapping it out. He has some information for you on that. And since then, also in your packet is a small change that they've made with the conduit, electrical conduit stuff there, but he can explain all of that as well.
before we go any further, since there's nobody on Zoom, nobody in the audience, as far as any discussion for a public hearing, I suppose we could close it, correct? There's no comment?
Yeah, you certainly can. I would guess, I'm in favor of keeping the public hearing open
Okay,
longer. You can get more information from the applicant and have some questions in case somebody dings in late or shows up late. You still have the public comment period open and then closing it before you're going to make a determination on it.
okay. Do you guys want to go through the stuff again that we discussed last month, as far as what he's proposing? I know some of you weren't here to be familiar with it. Well,
I got the recap in the email. I'm good.
so basically what you want to do, if we go with the diesel, you're not going to have to expand on the area where the equipment changes, correct?
Correct, from what's shown in the
Right.
plan. The issue with the propane generator is it's a little more complex because it requires the tank. And the tank would need to be located outside the fence. And we need to find an area acceptable to the landowner. And on top of that, there needs to be a spark zone around the propane tank. So that's taken away land from the landowner and restricting them from certain equipment that they could put on their land, relatively close to where the propane tank would be.
You can bury the tank. That's an option.
Okay.
But at this point, my only point is the landowner apparently isn't here, hasn't responded. And in this way, he can go ahead with it, but it's up to us whether we want propane or, well, we have one propane, just want another one with the diesel. So this plan that you just gave us is going to show where the diesel would go?
Oh, that's correct.
Okay,
It'd be on the new concrete pad. So the drawing shows the pad. With the generator would be the furthest to the west. So that the generator is the rectangular object shown on the west side, and the generator sits on top of the diesel fuel tank, which sits on top of the concrete pad.
okay. Do you have an objection to that, Tony, as far as them putting in? A question about it?
Not right now, not yet.
Barb or Dane and Josh. Our big concern was the audience, the public had a concern at the time where the tower was going. So that's kind of why we went with, had them put in the propane generator.
it sounds like from what Karen mentioned, there isn't a restriction of record
Right.
that would prohibit diesel. It may have been what drove the previous application towards propane. Which is why then, when this was presented to you in November, before taking any more action on it, you went with public hearing to get feedback on whoever may have had objections to diesel in the past to now come and explain why diesel would cause an unnecessary impact in the surrounding area. And so, based on at least what you have before you right now, is what you have to make your determination on. And without having more information as to what the objection would be to diesel at that location, it's hard to substantiate forcing propane without there being that, indicator in the record that it has to be propane.
Right. Karen, do you know if there was a public hearing back then for the,
Let me
on
look.
record? I mean, I assume there would have, well, I don't know, I shouldn't assume that, should have been, but.
Mr. Papa, the whole idea of making this change is the fuel tank itself, the placement of the fuel tank.
No, the whole project, the purpose of the project is to update the equipment
Mhm.
that's there. The equipment that's there has been there for many years and has become obsolete. So that equipment needs to be changed. That equipment being the cabinets that are on the ground and the antennas on the tower. And then the other thing that's also driving these changes is that the equipment on the ground, which is the cabinets, is currently located within the shelter, and that shelter is owned by Charter Communications, and they want that shelter space for themselves. So, they basically asked us to relocate our equipment to a pad outside of their shelter. So, we needed to do the update to the equipment, and so we're addressing their concern and, their request and our equipment update.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
What I have for minutes from those original 1987 approval is just where they made the motion to approve it. It doesn't indicate or not indicate a public hearing. I don't know if back then, if it might have just been a site plan review back then. I don't know. But anyway, it doesn't indicate that there was or was not a public hearing. There's a motion to approve it, and then there's a follow-up letter 2 days later from the chairman of the planning board, letting them know that it's been approved. So that's all I have. And these are the minutes from the meeting, so it doesn't say a public hearing.
Yeah, basically, he came in front of us because to update everything, and then by doing that, they wanted to put in another generator. And that's when the question came. So us that were here for the board meeting, we should have a public hearing meeting just to, if there's any comments, people that. Anybody have any question about?
Should we try to stay uniform on our decisions on these cell towers with the generators? Is that something we should try to do overall, or take them as an individual?
That was kind of what we discussed last meeting, and that's kind of what drove the decision at the public hearing, is
Okay.
because we kind of,
We were very firm on the.
yeah, with the
propane.
AT&T tower, we were firm about the propane. So we did discuss a little bit. I mean, that was in the Adirondack Park, this isn't, so, but still, yeah, I mean, do we want to be consistent across the board with?
And there was some public outcry. They didn't want diesel.
Right.
Which there's none here, you know, but
But again, I think according to the attorney, if it's not written into our town code, I'm not sure we can necessarily do that. Is that correct?
You can, you can deny the application based on the fact that there is a diesel generator, not a propane generator. But what I would want you to have along with that is the explanation and the rationale as to why that is the cause for denying the application. And so if that was stemming from, excess noise or fumes or space, or the truck traffic of filling it up was going to be in excess of the propane, or some reason, I guess,
Right.
why that was going to be the basis for denial. That's what I would want you to put on the record. What we're kind of faced with right now is there was in either this previous application or another application, I'm not exactly sure what, but there was a discussion about propane over diesel. But in, what's in the four corners of the application here, and, the lack of anything else that identifies diesel as a problem to this site and to the property owner and the adjoining properties. I'm not comfortable with what you have so far to make the diesel generator the issue that denies the application. If there was some additional support for that, then yeah, that's able, the board's able to take that and use that and interpret it to then say, this doesn't fit within the site plan.
And me personally, it's 30 feet off of Call Street, which has constant truck traffic, and I mean, there's more fumes, and that place is loaded with fumes from all the truck traffic. So I'm not sure having a diesel generator 30 feet off the road is gonna greatly increase our, exposure to toxins or anything like that. So.
Agree.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it would be on a case by case basis. If there are people here making an issue out of it, we'd have to look at it, but I don't think there's any issue here. At least doesn't seem to be.
and based on what you told us, if you had to go with a propane generator, you would have to revise the plan, because right now it wouldn't be going where it's supposed to go. You'd have to use more land of the landowner, correct?
Correct. So if propane was required, we would ask that the generator be removed from this project and the rest of the project be approved. The priority is to have the communication equipment approved so we can upgrade it, sooner than later.
Right. So, and do you have a problem with the propane? I mean,
No,
Howard?
No, makes sense.
Okay.
Before you do anything on it now, I'd say close
Close
the
the
public.
public. It's 7:21 PM. We're closing the public hearing. Now, Karen, I was just looking at my notes, last month, we already basically approved everything except for the,
Yeah, the seeker had, we approved the application, the seeker, you had a negative or minimal impact was declared. They're not in the Adirondack Park agency, or Adirondack Park, so we didn't have to contact them. And we've already gotten the county referral back that the county will concur whatever the planning board decision is. And so the only other action is whether you want to approve, deny it, or table it.
In the context of approval, it would be as amended with that change in the conduit.
That's correct. It's a small change, but that is requested. Thank
One
you.
we just got tonight.
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions about the conduit change? Any questions, Josh, Dave,
No.
Barb,
Oh,
Howard?
No.
Tony?
No.
So Karen, as far as I'm concerned, we went through each of these already on this sheet. The short form, we read the APA kind of referral. We just had the public hearing.
Mhm.
So now all we have to do is approve the application is complete.
We've already done that.
You'd be making a determination.
You'd be, yeah,
to
correct.
Approve it, deny it,
Gotcha.
table it.
Okay,
But should just say, if you're going the approval route, it should be approved as amended.
okay. I make a motion that we approve the application as amended tonight by the AT&T. Or Sprint T-Mobile, sorry.
I second that.
Yep, Dan.
Okay, take a roll call. Tony,
Yes.
John,
Yes,
Josh,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Barbara.
yes.
You gotta get Howard as well.
Yes.
Seeing none, motion carried.
you're all set.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if Karen needs any others.
No, I'm all set.
Okay,
I can, I'll get this signed and stamped and I can email you a copy of that tomorrow.
Okay,
Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Karen.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody.
We're a music center. How are you tonight?
Pretty good. By way of introduction, my name is Mike Conway, and I'm here as representing the Luzerne Music Center as chairman. I currently serve at their pleasure as chairman. And the application that you have in front of you is one that was requested by a donor to the camp. This donor happened to be an individual by the name of Jack Lawrence. Jack Lawrence died back in 2009. He wrote many songs that ended up on Broadway and musicals and that sort of thing. And they gave us $500,000. His trustees gave us $500,000 to initiate the improvements that occurred on the campus over the last couple of years. As part of that sort of informal agreement, our conversations with the trustees asked that we establish a small museum to house Jack Lawrence's artifacts and perhaps serve as a small little gathering space where we could have some chamber music and a few other things. And so what you have before you is an application for that building. That building's 1,000 square feet. It is an octagonal building. There's no water running to it. There's no sewer out of it. And as you'll see from the stamped plans and other things, that the building itself is in compliance with, to my knowledge, all New York State code for both insulation, thermal, this, that, and the other thing. So we made an application to the APA to get clearance from them. I think you have that document in front of you. They came back and said, no, we have no interest in this. but here's a laundry list of other things that we never want you to do in the Adirondack Park, and we said, thank you. And so we're not close to any of the issues that they had in that third page of that letter. So I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. The size of the building is 35 by 35, and it's, call it 23 feet high in total. Its location, as you'll see from the map in front of you, is about 35, 40, maybe 45 feet away from the corner of the concert hall that we have there. We call that the lodge.
We got the paper glasses?
Yeah.
The people that weren't here?
Yeah.
Got it.
Have you got it?
I'm just searching for it, but you got it.
There might be some here, Josh.
So I would invite any questions that you might have, concerns.
Let's see what happened.
Okay, this is the map you're talking about, correct?
Correct.
And where exactly is the building?
It's a small red circle on that, John.
Okay, it's
John,
not
I think
red.
it's right here.
Uh,
I think it's right there. Is that
Okay.
it? Is that it right here?
yes.
Okay.
Right across from the flagged out area for the septic. Well, near that, right? All right. That's, now I know where it is. And as you stated, it's not gonna have, it's just a building, like a museum.
Yeah, I mean, this is, we've got pictures in there, but that's basically what it looks like. And then inside is just, the 8 walls and hardwood floor, a vaulted ceiling, and the artists at the camp wanted to put a cupola on top of this building, so we said, okay.
Now, this is something new compared to when you first started with us, right?
Yes, it is.
Building's not in these drawings that you gave us originally.
That's correct.
Okay. So the APA said no problem. Sure, Karen, the county referral not required.
Yeah, John, that basically falls under the concept of the hamlet. And we're in the hamlet, which is why they didn't have any interest in the original project, because we were in the hamlet, and we gave them another shot at it by asking the question, which they asked us to do. So
Okay, I'm gonna read through the short environmental assessment form.
You need to go through the application as well, because we haven't done that. Because we didn't do this at all at the last meeting.
Oh, okay, that's right, you weren't present. So I will read through this. It was November 8th, 2022. Tax map number 298.16-3-48, 203 Lake Tor Road, Lake Luzerne, New York, 12846. Owner's name Blue Lagoon LLC. Owner's address 16 Diamond Place, Saratoga Springs, New York, 12866. And this is for the Luzerne Music Center, 203 Lake Tor Road, Lake Luzerne, New York, 12846. Total site area is 17.72 acres. Building is 1,000 square feet. Now that's checked yes or no on the application. It's to the question before. Is the subject lot within 500 feet of a county or state right of way, park, municipal boundary, or watershed draining into any county or state facilities requiring review of the Warren County Planning Board, no. And it is on 17.72 acres and the building is 1,000 square feet. Existing zoning on site, residential, rural. Anticipated construction time 1 month. Project construction estimate $250,000. Question 1, description of site plan proposal. A prefabricated octagonal museum for artifacts and music, less than 100 occupancy. Which you attach the plot plan for the location. Present property use. It's not in use right now. Our music camp during the season.
Yeah, I don't know whether that was designated commercial or whatever, but I put it in.
Right. Character of adjoining lands, forest and residential. Any required permits or approval associated with proposal and their status not applicable.
He will need to get a Warren County building permit
Okay,
eventually if they get approved here.
is the proposed action a permitted use under the zoning regulations? Yes. Is it consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan? Yes. Excuse me. Is the proposed action consistent with the predominant character of the existing built or natural landscape? Yes. Is the site of the proposed action in or does it adjoin a state listed critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in a substantial increase in traffic above present levels? No. Are public transportation services available at or near the site of the proposed action? No. Does the proposed action meet or exceed the state energy code requirements? Yes. If the proposed action will exceed requirements, describe design features and technologies, which there's no water or septic service in the building. Installation to code, seasonal use. Will the proposed action connect to an existing public-private water supply? No. Will the proposed action connect to an existing wastewater utilities? No. Does the site contain a structure that is listed either on the state national register or historic places? No. Is the proposed action located in an archaeological sensitive area? No. Does any portion of the site of the proposed action or lands adjoining the proposed action contain wetlands or other water bodies regulated by a federal, state, or local agency? No. Identify the typical habitat types that occur on or likely to be found on the project site. Check all that apply. Shoreline and forest. Does the site of the proposed action contain any species of animal or associated habitats listed by the state or federal government as threatened or endangered? No. Is the proposed site located in the 100-year floodplain? No. Will the proposed action create stormwater discharge either from point or non-point sources? No. Does the proposed action include construction or other activities that result in impoundment of water or other liquids? No. Has the site of the proposed action or an adjoining property been the location of an active closed solid waste management facility? No. Has the site of the proposed action or an adjoining property been the subject of remediation for hazardous waste? No. And it was signed by Michael Conway on November 8th. Managing partner, Blue Lagoon LLC. I have to read through the short assessment.
Are you going to accept the application is complete?
Oh, we can do that as we go each, okay,
Well, it's up to you, but make sure you cover all those points.
right. Okay. I make a motion that we deem the application complete.
Second. Tony?
Yes.
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 Jane?
Yes.
Barbara?
Yes.
Howard, don't forget Howard.
New guy. Yes.
Because he's not sitting over here. Okay, step 2 is the seeker. Righty.
I'll get him trained.
Part 1 project and sponsor information, like Luzerne Music Center Museum. 203 Lake Tor Road, Lake Luzerne, New York, 12846. Prefabricated octagonal building, artifacts and music, seasonal use, no water service or septic. Applicant or sponsor, Luzerne Music Center, 203 Lake Tor Road, Lake Luzerne, New York, 12846. Question 1, does the proposed action only involve the legislative adoption of a plan, local law, ordinance, administrative rule, or regulation? No. 2, does the proposed action require a permit, approval of funding from any other governmental agency? Yes, the town of Lake Luzerne, APA, and Warren County, which we deemed that APA said no.
Correct.
Warren County had no. It's just the planning boards. Question 3, the total acreage of the site of the proposed action, 1,000 square feet. Total acreage, 17.72 acres. Total acreage to be physically disturbed, I guess would be
Less than a quarter of an
less than a
acre.
quarter of an
which is-
acre.
yeah.
Okay. Question 4, check all land uses that occur on, adjoining, or near the proposed action. Forest, rural, residential, suburban. Rural, non-agriculture. 5, is the proposed action permitted under use of the zoning regulations? Yes. B, consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan? Yes. 6, is the proposed action consistent with the predominant character of the existing built or natural landscape? Yes. 7, is the site of the proposed action located in or does it adjoin to a state listed critical environmental area? No. 8, will the proposed action result in a substantial increase in traffic above present levels? No. Are public transportation services available at or near the site of the proposed action? No. Are any pedestrian accommodations or bicycle routes available on or near the site of the proposed action? No. Does the proposed action meet or exceed the state energy code requirements? Yes. 10, will the proposed action connect to an existing public-private water supply? No. 11, will the proposed action connect to an existing wastewater utilities? No. Does the site contain a structure that is listed on either the state or National Register of Historic Places? No. Is the proposed action located in an archaeological sensitive area? No. Does any portion of the site of the proposed action or lands adjoining the proposed action contain wetlands or other water bodies regulated by a federal, state, or local agency? Yes. Would the proposed action physically alter or encroach into any existing wetland or water body? No. Identify the typical habitat types that occur on or likely to be found on the project site. Check all that apply, shoreline and forest. Does the site of the proposed action contain any species of animal or associated habitats listed by the state or federal government as threatened or endangered? No. Is the project site located in the 100-year floodplain? No. Will the proposed action create stormwater discharge either from point or non-point sources? No. So we don't have to answer A or B, I believe. Because there is no. Is that correct? Well, will stormwater discharges flow to adjacent properties? No. Will stormwater discharges be directed to established conveyance systems? No. Does the proposed action include construction or other activities that result in the impoundment of water or other liquids? No. Has the site of the proposed action or an adjoining property been the location of an active or closed solid waste management facility? No. Has the site of the proposed action or an adjoining property been the subject of remediation for hazardous waste? No. Signed by Michael Conway on November 8th, 22. Now, part 2, the impact assessment. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use or zoning regulation? No. If one of the board members disagree with any of my answers, just. Number 2, will the proposed action result in a change in the use of intensity of the use of the land or use of the land? No. 3, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No. 4, will the proposed action have an impact or an environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No. 5, will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. 6, will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. 7, will the proposed action impact existing private, public-private water supplies? No. And B, public-private wastewater treatment utilities? No. Number 8, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Number 9, will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources? No. Number 10, will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No. Number 11, will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. Part 3, the determination of significance.
You don't have to fill out part 3.
Oh, we don't, okay. So at the bottom, it just says 2 boxes,
Yeah, you check the bottom
bottom one,
box.
where I'm checking the box that we determined based on the information and analysis above and any supporting documentation that the proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts.
Two questions.
Sure. Is the lead agency on that the town of Lake Luzerne?
I believe that's who
Yeah.
we are.
Planning board.
Just to
Planning
make
board.
sure. Sorry, just to make sure the applications are the same. One says wetlands. The answer was no, and on this application, it said yes, there's wetlands on the property. So on the application number 13, does any portion of the site have wetlands? It's no, but on the seeker, it's yes.
So that would be yes. Yes,
So there
unless
is-
there are wetlands on property somewhere, correct? We're looking at
Yes.
your application. And question number 13 says that there are no wetlands, but in the seeker, it says they are wetlands, which
So you're on page 2 of 4, item number 13.
on your application.
Does any portion of the site of the proposed action or lands adjourning the proposed action contain wetlands or other water bodies? Yes, I mean, the entire property abuts the lake and wetlands.
Okay, so we have to make a correction to that because you check no, at least on the sheet
Well, on the seeker, he's got it marked yes. Let's look at the application.
The application's marked no.
they differ.
And what
Okay,
number?
so on page
13.
2 of 3 on the application,
Yeah,
if we look at item number
13A.
13A, I guess we should check yes on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
correct.
So for the record, we changed that on the application. Thanks for that catch.
I have one other question.
There another one? or-
I just. Number 4, should aquatic be checked on page 104 on the seeker? Because there's so much of the water surrounding it.
Sorry, Tony, I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry, number 4. You checked forest and rural, should aquatic be also be checked? Because of the beach right there?
Yeah, I suppose so.
I don't know what's considered aquatic. I have no idea.
I wasn't sure.
You know, since it has wetlands, should that be checked or not?
I don't think the wetlands will trigger it, but
But it's
What about a
it's
beach?
by the lake.
you're,
The lake and the beach?
Well, couple things. One, within the scope of this project, this building is not anywhere near anything and sits on top of 1,000 feet of sand. So we could reasonably say that this building and its construction has absolutely nothing to do with wetlands or water or lakes or anything else. So I appreciate the getting this application correct.
So all it is just checking that box. It's not going to affect
Right.
the seeker or
Make
the
sure it's correct
application
for you.
So you're on what page, Tony?
104,
of the seeker.
The number 4.
and number 4.
So check aquatic.
Yeah, I'd rather have more things checked
Right.
than less things checked. And that way it at least demonstrates that you're aware of the fact that that's something that you're taking into account as you go through the rest of the form, which you've done.
Okay. So for the record, we checked. Page 104, number 4, aquatic also. Anybody else? Have anything?
Good.
So I make a motion, we accept the seeker.
Second,
Or
yeah,
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
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 Did you get Howard?
I'm still the new guy.
Uh, Also make a motion that the APA said there was non-jurisdictional on their letter for our file.
I'll second. Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
also make. Oh. Next, okay. Also make a motion that the county referral is not required.
Second.
Josh. Yes.
yes,
Yes,
Yes.
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 does anyone on the board have any reason to have a public hearing?
no,
Howard?
No.
So I make a motion that we do not have a public hearing for this.
Second,
Yes.
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 Yes,
yes,
I don't see any conditions we need to put on this. So I'd make a motion that we approve this.
Second? Yeah. Thanks.
Yes.
yes,
Yes,
Yes.
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 you all set?
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time, everyone. Karen, the next steps would be,
I have to issue you the zoning compliance
all right, and then that
and,
goes to Tom McKinney.
yeah, initial the plans for you.
Okay.
So I'm in tomorrow. I don't know how quickly you want to get this into them.
When you get to it, please.
All right,
Your time.
I'll let you know.
So you're all
Thank you all.
set, you're all
Thank you.
set for, you're gonna have it done before the opening?
We're supposed to. The building is being constructed, shipped in panels. That's supposed to get here like March 1st, assuming the ground will be dug into at that point.
Right.
Hilltop wanted to try to get the foundation in with the snow and the freeze, but that didn't happen.
I don't, yeah,
So unless we get a real break in weather, what we anticipate, John, is to be open for the season.
oh, great. We'll have to come and check it out.
Thank you all.
That's right.
thank
Thank-
you.
There's on the Warren County website, there's a place I have to go and put in the tax net number of when something is being done. It's variances, site plans, special use permits. If they're within 500 feet of county road, state land, another municipality, it kicks back out. This has to be referred. So it's a hit and miss as to when it needs to be referred. Yeah. So I see how you, it's all each individual one gets checked for different things.
So we do have next on the agenda approval of several months. I was talking to a lawyer attorney, and he said that even if everyone is not at the meeting, let's say in August, when there was only 4 of us, it's not necessary that the 4 people that were here need to be there to approve it. So, I mean, it's just, it's like,
So in
For
other
the
words, you
record.
can move on and approve all, and it's gonna.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So. First on the approval of minutes were August 24th. What we kind of discussed was if somebody was at that meeting, which I'm sure somebody was at each of these meetings, it's here, make the motion to approve it. Then the rest of us will just follow. That person was at the meeting. Yes, you.
Make the motion to approve the August meeting minutes.
Second? Can I second it if I wasn't there?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Barbara, roll call, Howard.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
Dane,
Yes.
Yes,
Barbara seconded.
I did second.
Seeing none, yeah.
okay. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the September 28th meeting.
I'll second them.
Yes.
John,
Yes,
Yes.
Dane,
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
if it's seconded, what, the roll call is seconded? Person seconded?
everyone.
yes.
And you do call each person.
Okay.
I also make a motion that we approve the minutes of the November 28th meeting. 30th meeting, sorry.
Second.
So you don't have.
Yes,
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yes.
yes,
Yes,
Yes.
Dane,
Yes.
yes.
okay, do we have any old or new business?
The
Sure.
only, I just want to mention again that if you haven't gotten me in your training record for the year, I need it. I need proof that you've taken 4 hours of training in this calendar year, and you can get it to me after the first of the year, but make sure it's all courses that have been taken before December 31st. I had sent out emails, a couple of different emails with courses that were available online and stuff, so you should be able to find something, even if you have to repeat one that you've taken in the past. And there's upcoming, I sent out an email about this, there's upcoming training in February in Saratoga City Center, which is, Attorney Crow said is a pretty good training opportunity. The town will pay the fee for that, but you need to give me your name that you're going so I can put it on a voucher and provide it to them. So if you decide to go to that training, let me know ahead of time. I've got to turn it in, I think by the 3rd week in January to them. So try to get me that information as quickly as you can if you're going to go to that.
Is that a 4-hour?
Well,
It's more than that.
I could
yeah.
tell you, because I actually went online and looked at it. There's 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. And I guess you could just go to one if that's all you could go to, and get half the 2 hours credit, correct?
Yeah,
So there's like 8:30 to 10:30 and 11, or the second one ends at 12:30. Then they take a break for lunch, and there's 2 in the afternoon, 1:30 and 2:30 or 3:30, something like that.
It's pretty much all day, and then at
Right.
lunch, they usually have a speaker who will, as you're eating stuff, talk about some land use type of issue or general conversation, and it's typically, it's pretty good. They've got a lot of different topics that they'll address both morning and afternoon. So you go to different classes and you can pick up a lot of information. It's useful, but it is an all day commitment. You know what day of the week it is? Ken?
The Wednesday, February 1st.
No idea, couldn't tell.
Does anybody else have anything? I have one thing, but I'll wait to see if anybody else has anything. There's, as far as our meeting schedule for next year, I know it's December, but next November, the fourth Wednesday falls again, the day before Thanksgiving, which we could have it the following week on the 29th. But we need to, approve it. And there's one other date I'd like to change in July. It's usually the fourth Wednesday. I kind of would like to have it on Thursday. My reasoning is the town board has finally approved a lot of stuff to go on this summer. There's like the car show on the Wednesday, and that Wednesday in July, they have concerts they're gonna have now all summer long on Wednesday. And I kind of don't want it to interfere with our meetings, and plus if we want to go, yeah. So it'd be,
The guy from the movie.
yeah, that guy.
Definitely.
He's
gonna
coming.
be, yeah.
It's gonna be on the big screen. That's it. Instead of Wednesday, have it on that Thursday, which let's see what day that is. The 27th of July, and then the one in November is probably a no-brainer. Nobody wants to come the day before Thanksgiving, so it'd be on the 29th of November. But we could approve that the next year without any problem.
Yeah, that's fine.
So does anybody think they might have a problem with it, or?
No, just remind us.
Oh, well, Karen will.
Thanks.
I'll remind her, or I'll remind Chris. Everybody knows that Chris is now part of Karen's team. Okay.
Yes,
Congratulations.
welcome.
Glad to help out.
So I make a motion that and for next year, we have the meeting on the fourth Thursday in July, which is the 27th. And for November, the fifth Wednesday, which is the 29th of November.
Second emotion.
Hey, Howard.
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Yes.
Dane.
Yes.
Yes.
Nobody has anything else? Make a motion.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Exactly. Hope everybody had a good Christmas.
Make sure you give me your vouchers if you haven't already.
So I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Bye.
Hi.
Thanks, everybody. Happy New Year. Stay warm.
Have my drink at home.